So every year I try to dedicate one video to talk about some gear that I found particularly useful. So here's one for 2025. So even though I get sent and I'm able to borrow a lot of gear, I don't actually buy a lot of gear throughout the year. Things like my vintage lenses, my dad cam, or my old digicam are a few examples of things that I bought this year, but they've been around for decades. And some of the new gear that I do have has actually been sent to me, and some of it I actually got to keep. Coincidentally, it is all made by the same company, but this is not a sponsored video. So I've invested a lot into lighting gear over the years, but something that I've always wanted was something just really simple that I could use gobos on. I even went out and I bought some gobos and tried to make my own little solution with a focusing flashlight, but that didn't end up working out very well. So in the professional industry, you would typically use a spotlight mount that you would connect to your COB light. Now, while those are really cool, they're a little excessive for someone like me who just wants to add a splash of light to some of my talking head shots. And that's where the SmallRig R10C comes in. And just keep in mind that this is one of the products that I actually bought, so there's no bias here. I actually kind of wish this was a Godox product because then I could control the light with my Godox app. Everything else here in my office is made by Godox. So this little R10C is essentially what I was trying to do with my focusing flashlight idea. It's just a big flashlight that you can focus the light with, and then using this little rubber gasket thing here, you can add gobos and create different types of lighting effects. And because this light will focus a lot more, you can create a really narrow beam of light and create different lighting effects, kind of like what you see going on in the background here. This is just a little DIY thing that I did with some small little acrylic mirror pieces and just flashing the R10C into them. I got this idea from one of Mark Bone's videos, but as you can see, it creates this really unique texture of light behind me. But the R10C does come with a bunch of different gobos that you can use to create a lot of different lighting effects. But if you're in a much brighter environment, you wouldn't even really be able to see what this R10C is doing just because it's not quite bright enough. But for 50 bucks, this works out perfect for me, and I'm glad I bought it. So a little while back, SmallRig sent me their new VB99 V-mount battery that they made in collaboration with Renan Ozturk. I really hope I'm saying that name right. So this new VB99 is insanely rugged, and it fixes a lot of the problems that I had with the original VB99 that I've been using for a while now. But if I can be real with you, I've kind of gotten away with using V-mounts like this, mounted on the back of my camera rig and powering all of my accessories, mostly because I use Lumix cameras, and for the most part, Lumix battery life is really good. So since I like to keep my footprint a lot smaller, I use these V-mount batteries for other purposes. I can charge my phone and other camera accessories with this VB99 when I'm out on a shoot. I've also been using it to run my video lights off of with just a simple D-tab cable. Also, this battery's touchscreen LCD is super easy to use. It's got a built-in flashlight, which I've used a couple of times, and the fact that it has 2 D-tab ports is pretty cool. It's under that 100-watt limit, so you can bring it on a plane. And again, I can hook this up to one of my video lights and run them for hours off of this single V-mount battery. So back in February, I reviewed the Tribex tripod by Potato Jet, and I voiced some of my concerns with not only the size, but also the price point. But recently, SmallRig sent me this SE version, which addresses a lot of the things that I had problems with on the original. So we all know the party trick of these Tribex tripods at this point. Basically, with this one lever, you can deploy the legs and adjust the height and the level of the tripod with one hand. So some of the biggest differences with this SE version is that it is lighter, and the tripod head that it comes with is a lot more basic. So you're not going to have any of those fine-tuning adjustments on the pan or the tilt. But one of the biggest differences between this SE and the original Tribex is that this one is a lot more budget-friendly, coming in at about $350 to $400 depending on when and where you buy it. The original Tribex would cost you around $800 brand new. So this tripod is still not something that I'm going to strap to my backpack and carry up a mountain with me, but if you take the head off, you can actually fit these legs into most luggage cases, which is pretty sweet. So I really like what SmallRig is doing. I like that they're making more budget-friendly versions of their higher-end gear for people who maybe don't need all the bells and whistles of the original Tribex. So this one is going to be a little more basic, but if you're like me and you shoot with mirrorless cameras like this is honestly all I need. And to be honest, it looks pretty cool too. I never want to convey the message of I have this gear, so you need it too. Chances are most of you don't need any of the gear that I'm talking about. But if you are actually in the market for any of these pieces of gear, I can stand behind them, and I definitely think that they're worth the money. If you wanted to pick any of these pieces of gear up, I'll have some affiliate links in the description below. Anyways, thanks to SmallRig for sending me a couple of these products. Again, this is not a sponsored video, but I really do like SmallRig products. Be sure to subscribe to my second channel if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching. Vai com Deus, and I'll see you next time. Bye.